Hello, everyone. It's William here at Allegory Gallery. Thank you for being here with me today. Um, I hope you're having a great day. I hope it's good for you. And if you're out there, please say hi. Let me know that you're here. It's nice to hang out with you all today. Um, I I'm feeling a little disheveled today. I I was up at the cottage. It was so nice and warm outside today. I spent the day up at the cottage, and it was so nice. It was like 65 inside the building, which was amazing because it hasn't been like that in some time. And it was like 48 outside, but I was talking with my mom today, and she has her thermometer outside, and the sun was hitting it, and it boosted it up to like 78 degrees with the sun hitting it. And I know the sun was warm today because I took the cats out, and they were all like perching in the sun and trying to find the warmth. Even though it was warm, but they were trying to find the extra warmth. So it was really nice. Um, and I still had the pellet stove going though, still had to keep that going. Don't want to let the chill in because it's going to drop again, unfortunately. But today was very nice and very sunny, and it was a nice day to be out and about. And I made stops at the post office, and I scheduled a hair appointment to get my hair cut because it is long overdue. It's getting wild. I can't do much with it, but then I had to cancel my hair appointment because I'm going to be helping my mom with some things tomorrow. So I'll be rescheduling that at some point. Um, Probably for Thursday. Hopefully, I'll get that done. But with helping my mom, I'll be helping my mom tomorrow morning, and it's my packed day tomorrow. So tomorrow morning, I'll be helping my mom, and then I'll be doing the live at about 3 p.m. Eastern time, and then I'll be heading over to my pottery class to work more on my pendants that I'm working on. So that's exciting. And yeah, it's been a day. Um, let's see. Susie's here. Hello, Susie. Thanks for joining us. Marianne is here. Harry is here. Norma is here. Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. Um, I appreciate it very much. We we got the calming collars in today. My mom picked up calming collars for our cats because she had gotten us some before, and I asked her what kind they were, and they weren't selling them anymore. So she did some research and found some new ones, and so we got them on the girls. All except Gertie. Gertie is not. Um, she doesn't do the chasing. She gets chased usually. So we put it on the other two girls, put one on Gilbert, and we're hoping that the calming colors help the cats stop attacking each other. They've gotten really into it lately. I don't know what happened or why suddenly. Um, and but they've been chasing Gilbert around, and we can't have that. So got the common colors just late this evening actually. They showed up on the porch, so we are we've got them on, but we haven't reintroduced everyone to everyone yet. We've been keeping the girls mostly upstairs during the day and the boys downstairs at night, and then the boys come up and sleep with me in the bedroom at night, and the girls get to roam around and run around. Um, at night. So it's been quite the ordeal, but we're getting things. Hopefully, this will work them out. My mom also sent us some calming spray, some pheromone spray. So I sprayed around the house to hopefully get the calming started as quickly as possible. So I know there've been a few people asking us how it's going. We just got the colors today, so hopefully all is good, or all will be good. Um, let's see here. We got over 60 today, and most of the ice has finally melted, says Norma. Yeah, a lot of our snow. I'm glad your ice has melted. A lot of our snow has melted or turned into slush. And I'm a little bit concerned because it's very slushy right now, and it's supposed to drop in temperature again. I don't know how far. Hopefully, not to ice that up, because that's when it always gets dangerous, is the slush turns to hard ice sometimes. So but it was nice to see most of the snow melted. Um, and I don't think there's much snow in the forecast. Um, at least, let me see. At least for us, next Wednesday and Thursday, rain. Um, but it's supposed to stay mostly above freezing, except Thursday and Friday are going to be cold, but mostly above freezing other than that. So hopefully we're on the up and up to the warm times. Um, that's what I'm hoping. Norma says the kids went back to school today for the first time there. Wow. That's wild because I know the kids around here, they've had a few days here and there, but I think they've mostly been in school. I've been following a lot of buses around, so that they have been in school around here, but that's a long time, I feel like, um, for that. So glad they're able to. Glad you got warmer. Glad we got warmer. It was so nice to be out and about today. Um, I did find out, unfortunately, we did not get enough signups for the Galentine's Day event. So Balance Restaurant, they contacted us to let us know that unfortunately we had to cancel that event, which is fine. That happens sometimes. Um, it was the first time that they had done it. We tried to publicize it, but we are not super well known yet in Johnstown. Um, and it's one of those things that it's kind of hard to get the word out sometimes about things. We tried to stress the necessity of buying tickets early. um, I don't know if a lot of people thought maybe they would go the night of or the day of and get tickets, but those are things you can't do. um, they were planning a buffet. We were planning to take jewelry and have enough beads for everybody. And so, without signups early, it makes it impossible to schedule things like that. So, unfortunately, that is canceled. Like I said, it would have been really fun to do. It would have been really fun to partner with them. I was looking forward to having a night of people there, but that has been canceled. So, if you were planning to attend, I'm sorry, it is too late. They've taken down the link to purchase tickets, and it is gone. So, that's uh, it is one of those things. We try and tell people, if you've never ran an event before, you might not understand, but it is so important that you register early for the people who are preparing for the event and working on the event. Um, because especially things like food, things where you're making projects, it's super important that we have a head count ahead of time, so that we can have enough stuff so nobody's upset, so we can have enough food so everybody gets enough. Um, and unfortunately, it didn't work out this time. So, um, we've talking about trying to do something else at another point in time. So hopefully we can work together again, or attempt to, and do something like that. So, we'll see. But I did get that news today. Um, that does mean, however, that very possibly, I don't know, Andrew's still working with Contemporary Craft to see if they want us to do an enameling demonstration on that night. Um, it was going to be that Andrew was going to go up there and do that, and I was going to go to Johnstown. Um, he's had a little bit of um, it's been unnerving for him to even leave the house and especially travel anywhere. So, he was kind of not sure if he was able to do that. Now that I'm able to go, we might end up doing that. So he's talking with them again to see if they want us to come up and do an enameling demonstration on Friday evening. So maybe we'll do that. We'll see how it goes. Are you all ready for Valentine's Day? Are you doing anything special for Valentine's Day? Our Valentine's Day obviously is going to be probably doing one of these things. Um, um, and then Valentine's Day is actually on the 14th, on Saturday. So we don't have any plans, I don't think. Um, but maybe we'll relax maybe a little bit after I get home from the store. who knows? But if you're not doing anything on Valentine's Day and you're in Johnstown, come on up and have a great time um, making some stuff. Come make some jewelry. Um, Bring your significant other, or uh, come together and make some stuff. It's a lot of fun. We've had a lot of husband wife couples. We've even gotten some of the husbands in making stuff. It's really fun. And, it's a great time to do, kind of a bonding thing and make something together. And you can go right across the street to Jada's Jazz Cafe and have some great food then. So it would be fun. So if you're not doing anything, you don't have any plans, come up. Even if you do have plans, we're there 11 to 6. So fit us in and come on up and make some stuff with us. Let's see. Norma says that's too bad. It sounded like a fun event. I thought it was going to be a super fun event. I thought people would love it. But it is the middle of winter, and that makes it hard. And, I know a lot of people probably have plans for Valentine's Day itself. So if you're planning on spending and going out on Valentine's Day, maybe you don't want to spend the night before and do stuff. Maybe you don't have the ability to spend again. So, but I thought it would be a cool night out with friends, eating and making things, but it just didn't work out, unfortunately. Um, Anne's here. Hello, Anne. Thanks for joining us. Susan's here as well. Thank you for joining us. Let's see. Anne says, today is my parents' 64th anniversary. How nice. That's awesome. Happy anniversary to your parents. Um, Hopefully did you get to spend any time with them? Hopefully you've gotten to spend some time with them. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe they like to spend the time. I don't know. Um, but that's awesome. That's quite the achievement. Um, 64 years. That's amazing. Yeah. Everybody's saying hi to everybody. Just don't want to miss anybody in the comments. So we're not doing that, but we may be up Pittsburgh on Friday evening. We'll see. We're still waiting to hear back whether they want us to do that or not. Um, and yeah, so that's not happening. But on the 24th, just 10 days after Valentine's Day, for my birthday, we're going to have a kit-a-palooza. So if you have not gotten a kit from our online store, please grab one so I can get it shipped out to you. We're going to ask you to use our kits to make projects, make new things. Um, we're also going to ask you to, if you have any projects you've made using our kits, find those pictures. I know that might be the hardest thing in the world to do. I know if your album looks like mine, it's not easy. But if you can find pictures of things you've made using our kits, post them that day. And we're going to try and fill the timeline with things using our kits on that day for my birthday. And then we'll get together. We'll have a sale on kits. So we're going to have new kits available for sale for Kitapalooza that evening on the live sale. And we'll probably do some make-alongs or Zooms or lives throughout the day too, I'm guessing, just to hang out. So if you're available, hopefully you will hang out with us and celebrate my birthday with me. Um, it's I'm heading to the other side of the 40s. It's going to be a big 46 for me. So, heading into the other side of the 40s, which feels so weird. Closer to 50 than 40. I don't know how I feel about that, but I really don't care that much. To be 100% honest, I have never thought about age that much. Um, to the point that I'm not good at knowing what age somebody is if they ask me, or I'm terrible with it. So I've never really considered age that much. The only reason I have to consider it now is because things are starting to hurt more and and hair is going grayer. But other than that, I don't really think about it. So but I do hope that people come out. I love to celebrate on my birthday. I am one of those people. My friends in New York would always throw me birthday dinners and birthday parties because I do like to celebrate my birthday. Um, it's rare that I don't. And so I'm hoping you'll join us and have fun with us on Tuesday, February 24th to celebrate. Um, let's see here. Ba, ba, ba. Nora says, very much the same here. The only snow left is next to my car door, of course, right? Um, Anne says, I'll be there on Thursday. My mom bought herself one of the sterling pins from your shop as a gift for herself. I thought that might be a family member of yours. I wasn't 100% sure. So I included a little note, but if I wish I would have known because I just shipped it out too. Um, but I wish I would have known for sure. I was going to ask you, and then I was like, that's weird. So I wasn't 100% sure. Um, but yeah, that's nice. That's nice. I'm glad she did that. Um, everybody's saying happy anniversary to them. Norma says, Susan, same on the driver's side, the shady side. I know what that feels like, right? Um, and Susan says, those sterling pendants pins were stunning. We've still got a lot of them. They are stunning. There are a lot of them still available in the online store. We have not increased the price yet on them, but the prices will be going up. We're trying to hold off on doing that too much. But the prices will have to go up on some of them because some of them have a lot of silver in them. Um, so they are still available. If you missed any of them in the online store, if you don't know what we're talking about, we went through our collection of oops, went through our collection of artisan created sterling jewelry pieces. Some of them Andrew's had for decades. We went through those and started parting out some of our collection. Andrew still has more, but we started parting out some and we put them in the online store and they are available there for purchase. So if you haven't checked that out, please do. They're available at really good prices. Probably not even as much. I mean, I don't want to say you can melt them down for more, but they're priced really well right now. And they will be going up in price to meet, current sterling pricing. We rarely change prices on things in the store. This is something that people have talked about a lot. Especially since prices keep going up on things. We have been accused in the past of being a small business that inflates their prices or changes their prices. We do not do that. People there, and I think it's more people trying to badmouth us that may be on the other side of things as us sometimes. Um, but they'll say that when we have a sale, we increase all of our prices before the sale, and then we have a sale, and then it's not really a sale. That is 100% not the truth. It would take me forever to increase the prices like that on everything. We just don't do that. Um, Once they're in the online store, pretty much those prices never change. Unless we restock. If we restock something, the price may go up during a restock because it costs us more. But otherwise, we don't do that. Um, so the sterling pieces are going to be independent of that. They will change from time to time. And if we need to raise the prices on them, we will. So that's a just a warning. I mean, it makes sense because we can't sell silver for less than it's worth, especially when we have a jewelry, a studio where we work in silver. And if we can melt that down for for what it, less than what we're selling it for, or more than melt it down for more than what we're selling it for, it doesn't make sense. Um, so that's yeah. Hey, Kimberly, thanks for joining us over there on Facebook. Uh, Susan says, our Valentine's plans are simple. Get a breakfast out, visit the butterfly house, and stop by half price books. That sounds delightful. Delightful. Anne says, Susan, that sounds like a great day. Um, Susan says, then watch some classic movies like Charades and To Catch a Thief. Nice. Sounds like a good plan. Oh, Norman just said, sounds like a great plan. Um, Sue says, what a mean thing for that person to say. AG prices are more than fair. Yeah, it's not just been one person. Uh, uh, I don't know why sometimes we attract that. Um, I think whether it be who we are, um, there are a lot of people that just don't you know how the world is, and we face a lot of that in our everyday lives, let alone in the business life. We are very lucky. We try to talk mostly about how lucky we feel to be surrounded by great people, but I want you to know, um, there's that thing, like, you need the contrast to know sometimes. The reason that we understand how grateful we are and how thankful we are for all of you who do support us is because many, many, many times, sometimes in a single day, we are shown there are people who do not support us. Um, and it can come out of nowhere. It can happen multiple times, often in one day. Sometimes sometimes not every day, right? Um, but you know, we are so thankful for all of you out there, and genuinely thankful, because we know what it's like to be on the receiving end, often, of the opposite of that. Um, and so we have been targeted in many ways. We try not to talk about it too much. We definitely don't talk about it every time it happens. Um, it's just, if we talked about it every time it happened, we'd be like a broken record of, like, trauma stories. Like, we don't want to do that. That's not our brand. That's not what we try to do. We're not trying to trauma bond with people. Um, but it does happen often. And sometimes those attacks are just personal. And I say just personal because, um, we can handle that sometimes better when it becomes attacks on the business. That's harder, um, because that's our livelihood. Um, and I don't, it's not harder. I shouldn't say that. It's just more, it's more immediate. When it's attack on your person and it's personal, that's very hard. And you gain a tough skin after a while, with all of that, but you also, um, you deal with that in very different ways, and sometimes it takes a very long time to deal with. Like, there are things that I feel like I'm dealing with that I still, like, in high school, dealt with, that I'm finally understanding about myself, and all that. So it does take some time, but it's not easy. But it happens often. I wish it were just a few times, but and anymore, it's happening more and more often. So, um, yeah, it's a shame, but we persevere. And again, we are thankful to have all of you out there, and that's why we ask you specifically. I know we ask a lot of you all, but we ask you all to share us with your friends, because we trust you and we trust your friends. Um, we do things mainly by word of mouth. Sometimes it's very hard for us to, we don't run ads and things like that too often on Facebook and whatnot. And some of that is because they are expensive for what you get back, but also you never know who you're going to get. And um, with things the way they are now, especially, and the way things are becoming, especially, um, we don't need an influx of people who are going to disagree with our life, um, with the way we are, with what we believe. And so I know we ask you a lot to share this with your friends and tag your friends, but it is because we trust you, and we trust that the people you have around you are the people that are going to also be able to support us and the way we are. Um, and sometimes we do put ourselves out there, and we do run an ad or do something different, but um, it's harder in this environment. So uh, that's why we ask what we ask of you. um, it helps keep us, maybe a little too insulated sometimes, but also We're it's pretty certain that we're going to be finding the people who are going to be on our side of things, which helps a lot. And it's hard. It's sad to even think about things like that, but we have to because of what we've been through, um, and we've been through a lot, even though we don't talk about all of it all the time. Let's see here. Um, Susan L says, "I can't wait to photograph the butterflies. I bet that'd be so pretty." Um, I love butterflies and moths. I love moths a lot. Sue says, "We've never been the fancy dinner type of people where you have to go to an expensive restaurant with a special and pricey menu. No thanks." Yeah, there's a place for that. Um, I have liked to do that in the past. I have done that. Um, we don't have the means to do something like that generally right now. But even if we did, that's not where we would rather spend our money. I do think it's fun to see kind of more experimental food sometimes, or chefs that are more experimental. And when we were in New York, we did a little bit more of that. And it is nice. And that food does often come with a cost. But just because, that was rarely not for special events. It was just because it was something that was offered and we were able to do it. I don't necessarily myself believe in just because there's a day on a calendar that it means you have to spend a lot of money. Um, but if it's something that you want to do already and you enjoy doing that, then that's great. Do it. I am all for that. I've been on both side of things when I've had more money and when I haven't. And some of that stuff is fun. But if you don't need it and it's not your thing and you'd rather spend your money doing something else or save it, do that, right? Um, I think it's all good. It's all good. Um, Kimberly jumped over to YouTube. Hello, hello. Um, Leslie's here. Good evening, Leslie. Thank you for being here. Everybody's saying hi to Leslie. Smoky Cat is once again being a masseuse, says Susan. Nice. That's awesome. Um, I had a few cats in my lap here earlier today. We put the collars on the girls, and some of them were sitting with me and purring pretty good. We got Tallulah purring pretty good. So it's really nice. Um, I'm gonna refresh to make sure my Facebook. I don't know if Andrew's gonna join in or not. He was awake. He was in with the cats, but I don't know what he's up to. Marion says, "I just can't really imagine what you guys have experienced. I do hope that progress will be made again." I firmly believe it will. Um, I have to believe that because I can't get myself to believe the other way. I just can't imagine that progress will not be made again. We have to. And you know, I don't know. I I don't want to I don't want, near like turning 46, I've spent, you know, more of my life obviously out of school um than I was in it now. But high school, elementary school, they were not easy times for me. And that was during the height of a lot of the AIDS epidemic and um, really nasty things being said about gay people and in related to AIDS. And, you didn't want to be known as that. And there was not just nasty things being said to people, but people said them about themselves. Like, internalized homophobia was a big thing, and I suffered from it a lot, probably still do to some point. And times like this don't help that. And so, I watch this, going from where I was younger and where the world was to seeing people being able to be more free, even if it's harder for me because I still have some of that. But watching younger people being more free and able to be more free, and then looking and seeing what's going on in the world right now, and, you know, they just took away the rainbow flag on the Stonewall Memorial. Um, they had that taken. I think that's what is, if I'm right. I just saw that today. Um, and a lot of people, I see a lot of people commenting that that you know that they don't want it in their face. And that's all fine and good and whatever for people to say that. But when you are a minority of some sort, and I can only speak of being gay, I'm white, otherwise, but you all day, every day have everything else in your face, everything but who you are in your face. And people, straight, white, cis, males especially, um sometimes they don't understand that because that's what they see. That's normal, for them. And when you're up against something else, it's more difficult. Um, when you don't see yourself very often, it's more difficult. And so, it's one thing to say you don't want it in your face, but maybe I want it in mine, and maybe I'm deserving of seeing people like me, and seeing signs that reflect support for myself. And, it's not to take away anything from anyone else, it's to give to the people who don't see it in their lives every day. And that is what is is so hard, um, that I don't think people understand, because we don't talk enough. We argue, um, we fight, but we don't talk enough. And if people, I think, could just sit down and say, hey, you see yourself in everyone you see, everyone walking around, you see yourself. I see myself in maybe what they say 1 in 10. Um, and, and in some places, much less than that. And like I said, I have the privilege of being white. That helps me a lot. I see Andrew, he's one of the very few people in town who are a person of color in our town and our entire surrounding area. Um, and so, that's, maybe it's nice for him to see some things about his history, or support for him in various ways. We're not rubbing it in anyone's face. We are not, um people who support us are not rubbing it in people's faces. They are trying to let us know that while we don't see much of that in our world, there are places that are safe. There are people that are safe. There are people that understand, that it is hard to go about your entire life, or most of your life, not having that same feeling of inclusiveness that many people, the majority, um, of people get in their daily life. I did not have that growing up. Um, being gay was not okay, in most of the places I was growing up. And so when I see a pride flag in somebody's yard, whether they are an ally or whether they are LGBTQIA plus, um, it's nice for me, and it brings me a little bit of hope that that people are more accepting than when I grew up and where I grew up. Let's see here. Uh, Susan says, only 46, you were a kid. Yeah, I know, but I was talking about that a little earlier, probably before you came in, but like I'm on the other side. I'm closer to 50 now than I am of 40. And that's a strange thing to think about, because I don't think of age. I'm not one of those people that's obsessed with age. I don't care. I've never cared what age I am. I can't remember. I love celebrating my birthday. I feel like that's an important day. I want to celebrate it. But I've never really cared about age. And as I get older, I keep wondering, am I starting to care more about age? And In some cases, yes, it's hard to see changes in the mirror sometimes. Um, but in other cases, I really don't care. I really don't care. As long as I feel healthy, as long as I feel like I can do things fairly well, as long as I can still, I know I'm slowing down in certain ways. I'm trying not to. I'm trying to build some resilience and all that. But yeah, I don't. Um, I've never cared about age. It's never been a thing for me. Um, let's see here. Kimberly says, I am on both. I like to see comments. I get it. I wish I could see comments. That would be nice. Leslie says, yes, yes, yes. And it's hurtful when people say that. It's so dismissive, right? Anne says, although they make me angry, I'm also sad for people who see others being supported as losing something themselves. How sad and small their lives are. It's true. Um, I don't understand why seeing a pride flag makes anyone upset. I do understand there are people that firmly believe that it's wrong. And I have spent parts of my life trying to convince people that it's not the case. I'm not here to convince you whether whatever. You're going to feel that you're going to feel. You can get to know me as a person and you can decide. But for the people specifically, and I've seen this a lot, for the people specifically who say that they support me, that they don't mind, they don't think there's anything wrong with it, they love me, but then to tell me that they don't need to see the flag and that is somehow taking away from them and their what they want to see in the world. That's what I don't understand. Because if you truly understood how alone it can feel to be on my side of things or on the minority side of things, if you truly understood how alone it can feel, you would not mind one bit for your friend to see those things and have those around. Um, because it takes nothing away from you. It is not saying that, in our case, being gay, the pride flag, that pride flag is not saying that straight is bad. It is just saying that we see you and we acknowledge you and we are supporting you. And you can see this. This is a way for you to see this physical support in your life that you may not see very often. And it's so strange to me um, why people think that takes away from anything else. Um, I can't understand it. Um, Leslie says, people ask me why I love living in the city, and for all the reasons you just mentioned, I feel safer in an environment where I don't stick out. Yes. I mean, it was easier in New York. There were a lot of things that were easier in New York City. I was still called names from passing vehicles, even in New York City. But I saw a lot more of people that were like us there. Um, and there were still issues, but there was a lot more people like us. It was easier. I understand 100% why people go to the cities, um, but I don't know. It would be nice to see more of it around us, and I like I said, the whole idea that it takes away from something else or you don't want to see it out and displayed. We see straight people holding hands almost every single day. Um, and i- if you think that it's not okay for us to do that, but it's okay for that to happen because that's what's normal, then you don't really support us, and you're not really being an ally. And so, it's those little things that people say they're an ally, but then they will say things like that they don't want it in their face. And it's like, what does that mean? What does that mean? Um, and so it's hard. It is hard. Um, because sometimes you think people are allies and then you find out, um, by holding hands or by kissing that they're not really. they're not really okay with that, and they don't really want to see that part of who you are, which is no different than somebody kissing who's straight. Not at all. Um, anyway, I don't know how I got onto all this, but um, Kimberly says, "Shush, I'm going to be 49." Right? I know it's so weird. It's so weird. Like, I don't know. I still think of people my age, as getting out of school, and I think of them as having kids. I don't think of them as having grandkids. Like, that's just, it's such a weird thought. And I do know there are people in my class, they have grandkids already. Like, it's so weird. It's I don't know, it's wild. Um Uh, Anne says, "I'm 60 and I love it." Yeah, I like I said, I don't think age, like I said, as long as I feel like your body and your mind are good, then I don't the number doesn't matter. And I'm trying to keep my body and mind good, and I need to work on that a little better. But yeah, I'm thankful for that, and I don't really care about age. Um, I'm getting to the point. I used to always have this idea that I had to impress people, or that I had to have people like me, and a lot of that came with how I dressed or how I looked. And I mean, obviously, I'm getting away from that as I get older. But it is, it's still a hard thing. There are still times I get caught up in that, but um, I'm learning that there's a freedom that comes with getting older, and I don't need to be, um, the I don't know. I don't need to be that, fresh thing on the block all the time. And I always try to dress up or dress nice or impress people, or, you know, be the life of the party. And I don't need to anymore. It's kind of nice. Um, Marianne says, "How someone else lives has very little effect on a person's life, really." It's true. It's really, really true. Um, Most people, Andrew and I are so insulated in some ways. Like, we see all of you every day. Thank you. Um, but we don't actually come into contact with people all the time, really. A lot of our work is virtual. I go to the grocery store and do some errands and things like that once in a while, and I'm at the store on the weekends. But the amount of times we interact with somebody in an entire week is very low. And um, in reality, what people are doing makes no difference to my life unless they make it, right? Unless you make yourself a part of my life somehow, either by loving us or hating us, um, or anything in between, um, what you do in your life does not matter to me. It doesn't affect me. So what I do in my life generally doesn't affect you. Um, And so it's so strange when people get so in their heads and try to defend things that they're saying when it really doesn't make any sense. If you think about it logically, um, it's just it's so weird to me. It's so weird to me. Oh, look, comments popped up. Um, Sue says, "I will be 64 at the end of March." Nice. It's good. Um, Marianne says, "All babies. I am 73." Nice. See, I love it that we have various age ranges here. And, that's something that I appreciate so much about the AG Bead fam, is that we pull in people um, from all different places. I mean, in all different ages and all different backgrounds. And this community is something that I truly believe people can learn from one another. People can get advice from. I know I've gotten a lot of advice from all of you, um, and we share those things that we learn together. And I think this community can do even more than what we do, if we really pushed it, and turned it into other things as well. I'm just grateful that you're all here making things and being creative. But we've talked about how, um, doing various classes, or turning the community more into a resource, um, for other people as well, and people that would be willing to do that. And I know we've talked about, some of you teach classes, or some of you have life experiences you could talk about. And I think it would be an amazing thing to be able to do, because we do have people from all different backgrounds. We have people at all different age ranges. Um, and it would just be, you know, sharing sharing what we've been through and passing that on to people who might need it. I think could be a really cool thing. Norma says, and I'm 70. Yeah, it's so awesome. Um, Kimberly says, I don't care what someone's lifestyle or political views are. If they are a good person, I support them, care about them, and will stand up for them or with them. Yeah, it's, I talk about this probably too much with people sometimes, but we have become very divided. And people, when you divide people into categories or subsections, oftentimes people take on that persona. Whatever you give them, they take on, and oftentimes dig their heels into it. Really, like they are really playing the part. Um, and I think a lot of that is what has happened, to us recently as a country. Um, we've been given our parts, and we're playing them. And it's one of those things that I really do think that if most people, I mean, I know I have turned people's opinions just being who I am. When I finally came out, when I was in college, I still had some friends who were a little bit younger or older. I mean, I was friends with a lot of people, and people who were still, anti-gay, or once they realized who I was and that I was the same, like it didn't matter, it changed people's opinions. And they, I think, became more open people for it. And um, some of them are still my friends. I'm not in contact with all of them, but some of them still are, and we still get along, and there's no weirdness about it. And I think if you get the chance to know people, people really don't care. Like, I think, like Marianne said, it really, my life has very little effect on anyone else's in the grand scheme of things. Now, if you're out there fighting for things, and I know that some of that can have a bigger effect, but giving me rights to marry, for example, did not take anything away from any other person. Um, and so, me having that right didn't take anything away. It didn't change the majority of people's lives at all. Like I said, if you are totally anti, um, that's a different thing, maybe. Maybe you felt something was taken away. I don't think anything truly was, but um, maybe your belief that more people thought like you, maybe that was taken away. But for people who say they're supportive, there's nothing taken away from all of that. And it's, if people just sat together and talked together and just were together. When you look at a lot of original peoples, they've had a lot of different ways to say a lot of different things, um, and to categorize people. And most of them all had very inclusive thoughts about the people they were with. And I think a lot of that comes from, they just knew people. They knew who they were with. They knew who they were sitting down at the table with. They knew who was on their side. They knew that they would stand up for their own people. And if somebody came along that was a little different, that was okay. it didn't mean that there was something wrong with that person. They still knew they were part of the tribe or they were part of the group. And I think we've gotten away from a lot of that. Um, anyway, here I go again. Anne says, "We are a wise bunch." Yes, yes, we are. Susan says, "I refuse to live in outside areas of my state. It's very red while I am very blue. My life could be in danger. I can't even begin to imagine how you and Andrew cope." We are very lucky. Um, you know, I know we are in a state that's purple most of the time. And, we're very lucky in that we do have a lot of acceptance around us. But there are also people that just do not. And that's hard sometimes, but it is it is a fact of our life that we have dealt with our entire lives. This is nothing new. Um, and it it goes beyond blue and red, to just who we are. There are just some people that do not believe or that we are equal, or do not think that we should have rights. There are people who believe that what we are is completely against nature or religion. Um, and that has just been a fact of life. We have both lived that, from the moment we knew about ourselves. And that does not matter where we are. Of course, generally, larger cities or larger areas, um, are it can be easier to find people like ourselves or to be, but also smaller towns like where we are, there's a better chance of us getting to know people. And I think us having a business in town helped. We got to know a lot of people. A lot of people got to know us, and you see things aren't so different. Like the things that we want aren't very different from what most people want, and I think that has helped. Um, and so we are very lucky uh, that we have had that ability to have people see us and us see people. Um, and so yeah, it's we cope in that way. We cope by trying to understand people and have people understand us and get to know people. That's how we cope. And sometimes that also means withdrawing, or not talking about things sometimes. We're trying to be a little more outspoken recently just because of how things are. But, it's interesting sometimes. Um, Um, Kimberly says, "Oh my, I have a 7-year-old granddaughter." Right? Yeah. It's so weird to think like we could be grandparents. I it's just so wild to me. Because in my mind, I don't think that. Um, I don't. I'm not there yet. I just I think I like I said, I think of it as like people my age are like, they're just having kids. No, their kids are, and it's because we have not had kids. I know that. But in my mind, I'm still like back there. And now I'm like, no, their kids are having kids. Like, it's so strange. Um, Kimberly says, "I know, Susan, and my husband keeps asking me to adopt children." No. Oh my goodness. Like, you got grandkids? No need to adopt. There's no need to adopt more. I mean, if you want to, fine. That's great. Give kids a good home, but that's hard. Andrew says, "I think sometimes people who are in power use marginalization and division to control others." Hey, Andrew. Yes, they definitely 100% do. 100% do. Because they know if you give people a role, they will often play that role. Um, I try as best as I can, um, to just follow what I think is right. And I know that comes from nature and nurture, but I try to just look at things like, should people be equal? Yes. Like, is it wrong to feel one way inside of your body and look another way? It's not wrong. Should you be able to fix that? Yes. Like, I don't I don't understand. Like, to me, it's not a debate. It's not. I just don't understand. But and I don't know why other people do, other than they have been told that that's how they feel, or that that's, oh, you believe this, and you probably, right, you also believe that they shouldn't be doing that, right? Because that's what we all think. And that's where it starts, it's just division, and it's just marginalization, and it's ridiculous because, you know, have you ever thought something so long that when you actually examine it, you're like, I don't actually think that. I've had that happen to me and a few times in my life, and I can't pinpoint anything right now because it feels so ridiculous once it happens. But there have been things that I've grown up thinking, and then, like, you'll think it for years, and then all of a sudden one day it'll be like, but I don't actually think that. Like, why am I so and it usually comes up when you're trying to defend a point of your own, and you're like, but wait, that doesn't make any, like, I don't don't feel that way. And I think that's how a lot of things happen. Um, I think when people are really faced with it, people generally don't care. Um, we don't have a lot of time to care about what other people are doing or saying or being, how they're being, but we're told that, oh, you're in this group now, right? If you want to be in this group, most of us in this group, we're thinking this, and so you just decide that that's okay. That's, yeah, I think that too. You don't. Um, Kimberly says, my third daughter is in the LGBTQ community, and it definitely does not change how I feel about her. She is still my baby girl, and I will always love and support her. Yeah, it's good. It's there's no there's no difference, right? There was no change. Um, my mom, when I came out, the only thing she was concerned about is that my life would be harder. Um, but for her, I was still the same kid I always was to her. Like, I was still her son, and there was nothing that changed that. And I don't understand how that can change or make anybody different to somebody else. It's so weird. Um, uh, Marianne says same-sex relationships are common in nature, though religion is another matter entirely. Yes, in nature, they definitely are. It's a thing. It's a thing, people. It happens. um, it happens in nature. It happened to me. Um, Andrew says, I want to cope by being by the beach and crafting while looking at the water, right? That'd be nice. That'd be pretty nice right now. I have to admit, I'm not generally a beach person. Um, But I have had dreams lately. Every once in a while, we play the lottery because I'm like, okay, we're gonna give this a try. Um, Somebody has to win, right? Why not? So I play the lottery, and then I imagine us on a beach, and we're living in a nice little house close to the beach, and I think about my mom and my aunt and my mom's dogs with us and our cats and my aunt's dogs, and we're all going to the beach in the morning to sit on the beach and meditate, and the animals are running around playing with each other. Like, I do all these things, and lately it's been a beach scene. Like, um and then we go back and we make some food together, and we hang out, and then we go and work in the jewelry studio or work in the pottery studio, and we all just kind of hang around and make things and laugh and talk, and that's been on my mind a lot. That's how I'm coping, is in these uh kind of almost virtual reality thought processes and worlds that I'm trying to put myself in. And it's a nice thought for a little while. And it gets me, hopeful towards something else. Susan says, my friend is 6 months younger than me and has 3 great-grands. Wow, that's cool. That's cool. Leslie says, I am a great-great-aunt. Wow, that's cool too. Um, Kimberly says, yeah, I am not starting over. I am ready for an empty nest. Henry graduates from high school next May. No more raising of the children for me. That's, hey, so, um, I think that's fair. You've done a lot. Um, like I said, you want to have more? Be my guest. But um, yeah, I think it's hard, right? You know, Andrew and I have flip flopped on whether we want kids from time to time, and I still think it's a hard job, and there's no preparation for it. I mean, you can have your parents, but you know, there's probably something in everyone's parents that you wanted to change or you find out was probably not the best, and there's no guidebook, there's no real way to be a parent, and I can't imagine. It would be so difficult for me. Marion says, I'm old enough to have great greats, but the great nieces and nephew haven't had children yet. Kimberly says, yes, Andrew, that is the dream, beating on the beach. Wouldn't that be nice? Andrew says, critical thinking is not valued as much as it should be. It's true. It's true. Sue says, I would have loved to have known my greats, especially my French Canadian great grandmother. She was a professional cook and read tea leaves. That's cool. I knew my one great grandmother. She was still alive when I was very young. Um, but I didn't know her. We were kids, and she was great grandma. But that when you're that young, it doesn't be like you've never seen death. I mean, unless you have, but we didn't. You don't understand that those people are only there for a short amount of time. Um, Most likely. And you're not old enough to ask them the questions that you would love to ask them in life, right? I wish I knew her better. I wish I had been around her more, but yeah, but she was there. I remember certain things. Um, she was mostly she couldn't get around very well. So whenever we would visit my grandmother, she would be there, and she would mostly be in bed most of the time. And she always had gifts for us, and I'm sure my grandmother bought them, or grandfather bought them for her to give to us as kids. But we would go in and see great grandma, and she would have gifts for us, and we'd talk a little bit. But um, yeah, it was. Um, I don't even think she spoke English very much, if I'm correct, and so it was a little bit hard for us. But we would see her, and it's a good memory. I have only good memories. Um, but I do wish, there's always these things you wish you could go back and ask people once they're gone. And there's a lot of things I would love to know about her life. And um, because she would have been, I believe she was one of the ones that came directly from Slovakia, um, and made that trip, which is amazing to me to think about. Susie says, there's very little critical thinking for many. It's true. It's true. Oh, it looks like my comments have stopped showing up now, maybe. Um, Andrew says, I think a lot of issues stem from control. Someone wants to control someone else, and when people aren't willing to submit, they become an enemy. Yeah, it's so weird. I have no desire to control other people. None. Um, I don't understand why people would. Just just let people be. um I don't want that. I don't want that responsibility. um yeah. Leslie says, I never wanted to have children, and that's okay too, right? For a long time, when I was very young, I thought I wanted to, and I think that was only because that's kind of what you thought you should do. um and then when I got to the age that I realized how much work it really would be to raise kids. I was like, I don't know if I've got that in me. I don't know if I am selfless enough to do that. Um, and then as I got older, I thought, well, maybe I could do that. Um, but that was at the point when Andrew's like, I don't think I want to do that anymore. Um, so we flip flopped on that, but I do not regret not having them. I am perfectly okay with not having had kids. Um, and that's an okay choice for me. And that's it should be for anybody if they want that choice. Um, let's see here. Susan says, I was an odd child because I was always fascinated by history, especially family history. That's cool. Susan says, I can't even control my cats. I know, right? I know. Um, Kimberly says, I don't think that is odd. Learning about your family history is always interesting. It is. Marion says, my great grandparents remained in Europe. Pretty sure my grandmother wanted to emigrate to get away from her father in law. There's probably a lot of that, right? Get away from certain family. Leslie said, no regrets for me either. Marianne says, no kids is also my choice. And let's see here. Andrew has said, I don't think human children are in the picture for us. I feel like things are so tenuous for the LGBTQIA plus community. I don't think I would want to have kids only to have them ripped away. I do like other people's kids, though. We have friends who are having a baby this week. And he says, you'd make a good dad. This says, it makes me sad we never had kids, but you get used to some sadnesses. Yeah, I think I think as I've gotten older, I may, you know, have made a good father, probably, maybe. Um, I'm also very anxious, so I don't know, and I still have my own issues I'm dealing with, so I don't know how that would have played out. Um, I do I like, I don't know. I think I could have been. And I guess if you ever wait to be the perfect person to have a kid, most people wouldn't, unless you're delusional about yourself. Because I think most people would not consider themselves perfect. But um, yeah, I guess it's one of those things. And you know, am I sad about it? I don't think I'm sad. I do sometimes get lost in the thought of what it would have been, that kind of false nostalgia in some ways. But yeah, I don't know. But like Andrew said, you get used to some sadnesses, and that's you know uh, life can be full of those. But you also try to look at the good things, and we do have a lot of good things and a lot of good people around us. And like Andrew says, we have people around that if we want to see kids and want to see babies, we've got it around. Susan says, Marianne, I know a lot or quite a bit about my dad's ancestors and my mother, French Canadian people. My mother's German and Irish lines, nothing. Um, Marianne says, I know the most about my mother's ancestors. Susan says, I wanted children, but I went through several miscarriages. I'm sorry. That's hard. Um, and sorry to bring it up because it probably is a hard thing anyway, but yeah, it's hard when that happens. Um, yeah, sorry. There's not much I can say about that. I'm sorry you weren't able to. But yeah, it's it's one of those things you try to do your best, um and that's just what we're doing, all of us, right? I would hope. I would hope. And I feel like doing my best is, trying to allow people to be who they are and supporting people who they are as long as they're not harming or taking away things from other people. And that's that. um Susan says, Marion, I learned that I am descended from Henry the Eighth's sister Margaret. Marion says, egad, Susan, we might be related. um, Susan says he did not like his sister because she became a monarch before him. So wouldn't that be funny if you found out that you were actually related somehow, somewhere in history, somewhere along the line? Um, who knows? Many of us could be. Many of us could be, right? All right. Well, that was an interesting conversation today. I had no idea all that was going to come out, but I'm getting a little bit hungry, so I don't know what we're gonna have for dinner. I didn't go grocery shopping. I should have, um, but I was at the cottage most of the day, and then I came home and started dealing with the kids and their collars. So I don't know. Um, we have some leftovers. I don't know what all we're gonna have. But I'm getting hungry. So let's get the show started, the live sale. Andrew says, well, weirder things have happened. It's true. It's true. Um, Kimberly says, oh wow, Susan, that is so cool. I don't think my sister traced ours back that far yet. That's cool. I know my cousin, he was really into our family history on my dad's side, and he did a lot of tracing back. I don't know how far he got. Um, I should find out. I would like to know. I think that's interesting. I don't think, like, I think it's interesting. I don't know how much it would, I guess it's fun to do that. I don't know. I'm always like, would it change who I think I am or where things came from? Or I don't know. I don't know. Would it make a difference to me to know all of that or not? Like the people I know or the people I grew up with, those are my relatives, and I guess you can find out fun things. I don't know that I am one of those people that's going to go digging. So I could find out maybe who I was related to, through lineage and all that, but their lives and what they were like, who knows? Um, Now, if you could find out all that information for sure, then I'd be interested. Um, let's see here. Susan says, not a fan of that Henry, though. I think there are Vikings and Templars on my dad's side. Kimberly says, I'm not a fan either. He was brutal. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's get the show started. As far as the selling part of the show, what's my bag? I have a bag of things here. Um, Andrew says, you remember Denise and Dennis. Yeah. Her husband was cousins with one of our customers. I think it's funny that people I knew in completely different contexts were related. That's wild. Marianne says, not really many fans of Henry VIII. Yeah. Sue says, there are a few black sheeps on both sides of my family. Kimberly says, my sister stopped at the Native American heritage on my mom's side. Not sure how far she got on my dad's. That's cool. That's cool. All right, let's see here. Let's flip this camera. I just lost my brain for a second. I'm thinking about too many things. Y'all got me thinking about so much now. All right. Susan says, that would be so interesting, Kimberly, right? I don't think I have any Native American heritage around in my family. Not that I'm aware of. Okay. Today's lots are going to be Mike, MIC lots. And I'm going to start out. This is some vintage check glass. $4 a strand. And I've got 2 strands available of this opalescent, kind of opalescent lilac lavender, slightly purpley, gray purple glass. Really pretty opalescent glass. Andrew says, one of my grandfather's gifts was to be able to look at a person and tell if they were related. That's funny. It's hard to type when you're being pelted by a feline, says Susan. Those are funny. Kimberly says, those are pretty. Yeah, these are really pretty beads. And there's only 2 strands of those left. They are 8mm rounds. And they're only $4 a strand, which I think is a really good deal. 2 strands available. I should have gotten and picked up a pizza or something today. I feel like I'm kind of in the mood for that. I don't know if Andrew has any plans to make some. I mean, we have to, unless we have enough left. We might have enough leftovers actually still. But usually by this time, he turns them into something else. Mary says, family history is a fun puzzle. Took me years to find my paternal grandmother's death certificate. She died of acute delirious insanity. Susan says, what would we refer to? Wait, what would we refer to as dementia? Andrew says, one time we were on a road trip and stopped at a gas station, and he started looking at this guy. And just as we were about to leave, he asked him if he was related to my grandma's side. It turns out he was. That's wild. These are vintage Czech glass, and this is kind of a knot design. Gold on red, little coins. And these are approximately 8mm coins, 4 strands available, $4 a strand, MIC2. Kimberly says, okay. I was like, that is an interesting cause of death. That's what I was thinking. Acute delirious insanity. Norma says, Marianne, I think that's the first I've heard of that as a cause of death. How interesting. Yeah, I've never heard of that before. Kimberly says, thank you for the clarity. Marianne says, not really sure, Susan. I haven't found a good explanation of that diagnosis. Andrew says, I don't know what's for dinner. There aren't really leftovers. He says, I'll figure something out. He's good at that. Thank goodness. Buy some beads, y'all, so that if I have to go out and get things, I can go out and get some groceries. Let's see here. This is, we had this at 24. I'll bring it down to 18. This here. This is a lampwork glass heart pendant. What did y'all have for dinner today? Beautiful lampwork glass heart pendant. 23 by approximately 40. 23 by 40. Andrew says, usually that's complications due to mental illness, usually suicide or health problems related to being in the asylum, like infections or heart-related issues. Huh. Never heard of that, but that makes sense. Are you all excited for book club? You know we're having book club. If you haven't heard, our book club's back. So hopefully you'll hang out with us for book club on April 10th. April 10th is our Zoom meeting for that. Just like to throw that in there. Let's see here. Sue says, my cousin and I discovered our grandmother told different versions of the same story to different family members. Oh boy, that's interesting. Mary says, one of the other interesting one was died from injuries sustained from a fall from a cliff. He was in his 80s. Oh my goodness. This is a beautiful lampwork flower, which is super cool. This has the hole through the center. You can see the hole down there. Hole goes through the center of the stem. It's got leafy greens in the back, and then this beautiful kind of open leaf in this kind of caramel carnelian kind of colorway. $18 on that. Andrew said it's like Catherine O'Hara. She technically died from a pulmonary embolism, but it was caused by the colon cancer. Yeah. Monica's here. Hello, Monica. Thanks for joining us today. How are you? Sue says, one of my great greats was struck by a train. That's wild. You know anyone stuck by a train? I didn't. No, sorry everybody. My comments just went wild. Hold on. There we go. Andrew says, one of my ancestors died from a peach pit. Have you ever heard Andrew's peach pit story? It's a wild story too. Let's see if we can do that. Okay, I have 1, 2, 3 of these. These are long strands. We only put $6 on these. $6. Andrew says the kids were playing and throwing rotten peaches at each other, and one struck my great grandfather. The tip was sharp, and he got punctured and ended up getting an infection. Let's see here. Len says delirium. MIC5 are these. These are a beautiful vintage check glass with an AB finish. I'll show you one strand. These are nice long strands. Beautiful vintage check glass. AB metallic kind of finish on those. And these are about 8.5 by 12. 8.5 by 12. Susan says, how pretty. Aren't they pretty? Andrew says, a lot, LOL. Generational trauma, childlessness, unusual family history stories. And of course, what people had for dinner. Yes, we are. What are you chatting about? Asked Monica. It is a lot. We're chatting about a lot. All different things today. Let me see here. Let me turn these this way so I have a little bit more room. Monica said, I just made an apple pie. It turned out beautifully. Nice. That sounds really delicious. Apple pie. Next up, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's one hank. 12 of these. And I have, we normally do these at 15. I'll do them at 12 each. This is black spinel microfaceted rounds. Beautiful black spinel. Microfaceted rounds. I know some of y'all really like black spinel. It's a really flashy stone. These are not coated. It's just the way the stone is. Beautiful black spinel. And these are about 2 millimeter. 2.1. They're all coming up 2.1 millimeter. So there's a hank of them here. $12 a strand, 12 strands available. Down from $15 a strand. Black spinel. Andrew said, Len sent me a pie crust recipe. I haven't tried it yet, but want to. Oh, that sounds good. I know your crust is the thing you always worry about. Susan says, apple pie and vanilla ice cream. Andrew said, those would make great spacers. Give a little razzle dazzle. I know. Look at them. They're just down here flashing away. Flashing away. MIC6. Okay, I'm going to put one away. One is this beautiful kind of lavendery pink, not pink, purple opalescent glass. 2 strands of those available, only $4 a strand. And I'm going to put 2 away. These vintage check glass as well. These kind of not like kind of a Celtic knot design. And that's MIC2. Only $4 a strand, 4 strands available. Monica said, those are beautiful. This is so luscious. I know, right? Got some good stuff for y'all tonight. We have this beautiful Lamport glass heart pendant. Was 24, now 18 for you all. MIC3. And then I'll move these over. This is 4, which is this beautiful trumpet flower pendant. And then 5, which are these lovely check glass, kind of the garnet or deep cranberry with an AB finish strands. Nice long strands, only $6 a strand, 3 of them available. And then the MIC6, which is the black spinel. Andrew says, I used to call those Celtic knots Outlander beads. That's funny. It is, right? Andrew says, I got asked to do a virtual demonstration for one of the craft schools. It's too early to say anything concrete, but it'll be in the beginning of October. Nice. The heart is borosilicate glass, so it's more sturdy, says Andrew. And we just sold the heart. Thank you so much. That one's sold. First sell of the night. Thank you. Thank you. MIC7. And this week, whoa, we had these at 8. I will do them at 6. This is furnace glass. It is not David Christensen furnace glass, but it is furnace glass. And we had another one like this that I used in my bracelet that I made. Oops. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So we had these yellow ones, like these, and I used those in this bracelet I made, which I haven't quite finished yet. Still got to put an end on it, clasp. But we have these ones, which are this beautiful kind of green and red coloring, and all different sizes of the furnace glass. Oh, my screen color just changed. I was like, why does everything look? There we go. Screen color back. Andrew says, I'm thinking of doing weekly prompts in the group. Normally we just do prompts in the beginning of the year, but I think we could all use some more beauty and community. Yeah, I think that would be nice, right? So this was $8 for the bunch of this glass. Doing it now for just $6 for the whole lot of it. And I had really a lot of fun using these in my bracelet. So I'm sure somebody can put that to great use too. Would y'all like prompts in the group from Andrew? These are beautiful little glass rounds. Let's see, we had these at 6. I'll do these at 4. Little glass rounds. And they have this kind of beautiful AB, kind of like a platinum finish to them. And they are about 10. We'll say 10 millimeters. And you get the whole little grouping of these. We've just sold one of the 6s. Thank you so much. We still have 11 of those available. Kimberly says, would love a weekly prompt. Andrew says, I think the first one, not to steal the thunder, will be to make something with hearts. Oh, there you go. Make something with hearts. For Valentine's. That makes sense, right? It is going to happen. It's going to happen at the end of the week. Yeah, unfortunately, if you missed that, our dinner and making session with our friends at Balance Restaurant, unfortunately, we have canceled because there weren't enough signups early enough. So that event has been canceled in Johnstown. But if we go to Pittsburgh, I'll be able to go with Andrew now. We're still waiting to hear if we're doing that event this coming Friday. Monica says, I love hearts. Andrew says, and just love in general, right? Need more love in the world. Going to put this one away. This is that beautiful kind of trumpet flower. $18. Handmade artisan glass. Kimberly says, that would be good. And I'm going to put these away. The MIC5. $6 a strand. 3 strands available. And let's leave those out for a little bit longer because these are really pretty. And I think they would be great for spacers with a lot of things. And honestly, I want to skip the event on Friday. Well, we can skip the event. We don't have to do it if you don't want to do it. We have that right to say we need to protect our mental state and not do something if we don't want to. Andrew says, Gilbert wanted to be let out, so I hope there are no murder sounds. Gilbert wanted to be let out of where? Did you have him in the room? Last I knew, he was already out. Leslie says, I had to design 3 Valentine themed projects for work, and it was a struggle for me. I'm shocked that lots of people like them. Well, that's good. Good that they like them. That's always a happy thing. Andrew says, the bedroom. Oh, I didn't know he was in there. You had him in there? Let the girls out? Let's see here. We have these at, I love these beads. They're weird, so I get why maybe they're a hard sell, but they're $8 a strand. There are only 2 strands available. Andrew says, I love hearts. These are 2-hole beads. So they're obviously 1 hole through here, but then the other side is a hole through there. And they're these little triangles. And I love these. I love this shape. I think they're so cool because I think they make such a cool bracelet. Right? Do that. And these are such a pretty color. They're kind of a little bit opalescent, and then they have that kind of brown ambery look to them. So 2 strands of those left. MIC 9. Andrew says, I kicked Tallulah out and brought him in. Oh, okay. My mom always liked hearts because it's her birthday. Yeah, Valentine's Day. It's her birthday, right? Da-da. And let's see here. MIC10. It really says they are interesting for sure. Yeah, I love them. I think they're so cool. We had them in many colors. I think we had some blue ones. We had these ones. I think we had another color or 2 of them. I don't know if we have any left of I think we have some of the blue ones left somewhere. But yeah, just 2 of these ones left. And these, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these. We'll do them for $2 each. These are awesome glass buttons. Check glass buttons. They look like this. Super cool. They are, where's my calipers? They are 13 millimeters. And I've got 5 of them here available, $2 each. 5 of them available, $2 each. Vintage check glass buttons. Alphabet style, says Andrew, right? Teresa's here. Hello, Teresa. Says, hey, William, thank you for the shipment. Love my purse. Oh, that color. You picked such a good color. So we had those totes from Italy that we brought back, and Teresa got one, and she got the deep red tote. And it was so nice. I'm glad you love it. I hope you get good use out of it. This is MIC 11. Had these at 16, bring them down to 14. These are these beautiful vintage check glass. I don't know. They're like a faceted round, a large faceted round. They're actually kind of hexagonal shaped, to be honest, now that I'm looking at them. But they've got these little hints of the brown and amber in them. Really nice vintage check glass strand. 12.7 millimeters, about 13 millimeters. We've got 2 strands of those available. Um, Andrew said these buttons would be great with the spinel. It's true. We just sold 4 of the buttons, so I've only got 1 of these buttons left. MIC 10. 4 buttons left. I'm sorry, 1 button left. 4 of them sold. Andrew said those tote bags are loved. I carried them all over Venice. Yeah, yeah, he did. And says, whenever I see the cool glass buttons, I wish I could make clothing to put the buttons on. I want something worthy of the alpha buttons, but not enough to actually learn to sew. I know that feeling. Andrew says we walked over 10 miles. Yeah, we did. Walked over 10 miles with those not the buttons, with the totes. Marianne says, so Susan, I checked Henry VIII is a 13th cousin 5 times removed. So yes, we are related, albeit rather distantly. That's cool. Kimberly says, what about replacing buttons on a top you already have? There you go. Right. Monica says those would go with 9. Yep. These with that. Very pretty. Put some of these in between. Maybe in between. I don't know. You play around with that. They're a nice colorway together though, right? Interesting. Next time, no big ass bags. Anne says, I'm not sure I have any shirts with buttons. I'm a knits person. I have dresses with buttons, but they have a covered placket. All right, let's see here. Marianne just says, hey, Teresa. Hey. Thank y'all for being here. MIC 6, I'm going to put away. That's the black spinel, only $12 a strand. Let's see what else. I'm going to put 7 away. That's the furnace glass. Furnace glass, only $6 for the lot, down from 8. And it says, if we get big bags, you had to carry them. And then these, I love these. They're so cool. They're like those little sour cherry candies. $4 for those. And it says, but the beads actually weren't better. They were heavy. Yeah, they were heavy too. Everything was heavy. Carried a lot of heavy stuff around Venice. MIC 9, MIC 10. I'm going to put 4 of these away because we've only got 1 of these left. So I'm going to put that away. And I'm going to move this over. Oh, we just sold the last 10. All right, so let me go ahead and put that one away and move that off the board here too. Thank you so much. All right. MIC 12. All right. Whoops. These are ceramic Mali beads that are spindle whorls. So they use these to help make cotton on spindles. And they're all carved. Well, they're ceramic. And they're super cool. They're all different. We'll pick one for you. I've got 20 of them available. They're $3 a bead. They're really cool, kind of vintage bead. Mama says those are interesting. They are very interesting. And they're very cool beads. Like you would just use one probably as a pendant or something, but they are all different designs. and they're flat on one side and then rounded on the other. And I love them so much. So there are 20 different ones available. We'll pick you out what. If you see one particular here that you really love, you can send a screenshot of it and circle it and all that. But otherwise, we'll pick out one for you. And I love them. Nice big beads. They are approximately 25 millimeters. Andrew says they're lightly waxed, so they don't get hung up on the thread. Yeah, they're super cool. Andrew says we carried around 20 pounds of beads. It's true. Lots of poundage of beads. All right, we've just sold 5 of these so far. Thank you so much. So we still have 15 of those available. Teresa says, my great grandmother had these. I have them in a box in my closet. That's so cool. That's really cool that you have some. Andrew says, you would love them. One of your jewelry pieces you owned when we first met had them on it. It's true. I forgot that. I got that from the French boutique I worked at. And I did have a piece that had these on them. I forgot that I had that. I wonder where that piece ever went to. Yeah. So see, I was buying those even before I knew what they were. They were just on some French jewelry that we imported to the boutique I worked at. And I love that piece so much. I saved up for it and bought it myself. Okay. This is a harder one. I have more of these alphabet buttons, but they're in a black and kind of blue purple kind of, but they're all different sizes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 10, 12. There are 12 buttons here. They would be what we're doing for $2. That'd be $24. They're different sizes, so it wouldn't all be, but we'll say that they were 24. I'm gonna bring them down to, let's see here. Let's do them for $16. $16 for the whole set. MIC 13. Andrew says it's at the cottage next to the filming studio on the wall. See, he knows exactly where it is. I didn't. I'm there more often at the filming area than him, but he knows. This is kind of a blue one. And you get this one that has some of the brown and black in it. I think this one's brown and black too. No, this one's all black. This is a slightly smaller one in all black. And then these little ones are kind of blue and black. Sometimes there's some purple and black. There's a nice mix of these buttons in here. And so, because I'm not going to sell them all individually. Here's the set of them, $16. I think that's a really good deal for the whole set. The smallest ones are 8 well, let's see here. What is that? 8.5 millimeters. Then the next size up are 11. And then we go up to 13. And then the biggest one is 15.5. Vintage check glass buttons, MIC 13, the whole set, $16. Ooh, this lampwork bead I love. Let's see, this was 24. I'll bring it down to 20. Beautiful lamp work coming into spring and summer. $20 for the bead. Look at the beautiful color. It's got some of the goldstone glass in there. Gorgeous color. Beautiful lamp work. Kind of like an eye with the iris in there. Really nice. Actually looks a lot like an iris. So beautiful. One available. MIC 14, 22 millimeters by 19 meters. MIC 14, 20 bucks. $20 vintage, not vintage, maybe vintage, but definitely artisan lampwork glass. Artisan lampwork glass. All right, let me put some of these away. We'll put MIC 9 away. We still have those available for $8 a strand. Oh, 10 was put away already. 11 away. Still have these available. These are really nice beads. I'm surprised nobody's grabbed those tonight. They're kind of a matte look. They have a luminosity to them. Beautiful color. MIC 11. Go with your white if you're doing Cloud Dancer or Winter White stuff. I'm going to leave these out. MIC 12, we have 15 of those still left. MIC 13, nobody's grabbed this grouping of buttons. And MIC 14 is the Lamport glass. I think these we showed once before, but a long time ago. Quite some time ago. I can get them out of the bag here. For those of you who like your bugs or insects, these are $13 each. I've got 2 of them only left. Vintage check glass buttons. Are these large dragonflies, hand painted vintage check glass button as a metal shank. It's got that foil on the back to give you that beautiful lustrous color through the green glass. Super pretty. Excuse me, everyone. And this is 31 millimeters, approximately 31 millimeters. Andrew says, I love the Cloud Dancer, but that's because I like opalite. Yes. Andrew says, did you all see the new opalite video? Taylor Swift's new opalite video. Did you all watch that? It's pretty cool. Marianne's going into lurking mode. See you, Marianne. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for commenting and being in the conversation. We appreciate that. And it says, I like the message of it that opalite is a human-made stone, and it's like sometimes you've got to make your own happiness. That's nice, right? These were 6. I'm going to do them for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. About 14 of these. Was 6. Dropping it down to 4. We got a bunch. Vintage check glass buttons. The 3 kind of dragonflies together. Black button with a gold finish. It is a glass shank in the back. A really cool overlapping bugs flying together. And that button is 18 millimeters. MIC 16, $4 each, and 14 of them available. Andrew says, I thought it was funny and how her interview on the Graham Norton show inspired it. Yep. Teresa says, I saw it and like the message. We've just sold 4 of the 16s. Thank you so much. We have 10 of those still available. Oh. There's 3 of these. MIC 17. This is also vintage check glass in this really pretty purple, pink, and black matte glass. Look at those. Nice chunky nuggets. It'd be really pretty. Just as like maybe 1 or 2 of those in a bracelet or earrings. Those would be some really cool earrings. Super cool. These are approximately, we'll say 18 millimeters by about 15 and a half. 3 strands available, MIC 17, $20 a strand. All right, I'm going to put 12 away. We do still have some more of those available if anybody is interested. Ceramic Molly spool whirls. Susan says, Marianne, that's really cool. I'd love to see the genealogy. MIC 12. Anne says, every time you say MIC, my head finishes KEY. Mine didn't until now, Anne. MIC, KEY, MOUSE. That's been a long time since I've heard that. That's some memories there, right? MIC, KEY, MOUSE. I wasn't even thinking that. That's funny. Sorry, I'm getting my bags lined up here a little bit. And let's put 13 away. Kimberly says, yeah, LOL. Yes, and thank you for pointing that out. Now tomorrow's letter should be KEY. It says, you're welcome. Yeah. All right. That whole bundle of buttons, I'm going to put that away, but that's $16 only for all of those buttons. MIC 13. Hey, I guess I do have tomorrow's letters at least. I don't think we've ever used key before. So there we go. Maybe that will be tomorrow's letters. And we're gonna put this lampwork glass bead away. MIC 14. Sue says, or Mickey, you're so fine, right? Hey Mickey, you're so fine. You're so fine. Hey Mickey. Hey Mickey. All right. MIC 15. We're gonna move that over. MIC 16. These beautiful little buttons. We've still got 10 of those available. And 17. That's straight. Andrew said, show the buttons again real quick. The whole bundle of them. Let me get them here. All these buttons. So that's Andrew's asking me to show you all these again. Check glass buttons, the whole bundle of those is $16 only. And you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I think 13 buttons. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yep, 13 buttons for $16. Almost $1 a button only. Susan's asking to see 17 up close. Sure, I can show that again. No problem. This is 17. This is the one that is purple and blue on the black matte check glass bead. Andrew said some of those buttons are $3 each. He said if no one gets them, put them in my pile. All right. So far, nobody's grabbed them. All right. So that is 17. And let's see here. MIC 18. This is a vintage strand. And this is, it was 20. I'll bring it down to 16. And, oh, what's going on here? Sorry, everybody, my bags are getting, let's keep them in order. There we go. This is Halite, plain white Halite, faceted drops, non-dyed. Beautiful vintage strand of these white halite beads. Super pretty. Great for cloud dancer stuff. Marion says, I can probably send you the lineage diagram, Susan. The linkage is through Henry's great grandmother, Catherine of Valois. Da, da, da. Len loves that. The pink and purple ones. Yeah, I love those. Andrew's asking when is Mardi Gras this year? Suzanne had said the carnival season is on now, right? Is that today? Is today Mardi Gras? Actual Mardi Gras? All right, this is $6. I've only got one of these. MIC 19. And this is this gray cat with a gold luster, vintage check button. And this is 17, so next Tuesday. Suzanne yesterday said carnival is there. Carnival season is there. Let us know yesterday. Things were starting up. One of these available. Just one left. This beautiful gray, flashy, a little bit opalescent cat. And that one has just sold. Thank you so much. And it says, I mean black and pink. And it said, hey, Linus, you know I love black and white. I mean black and pink. I know, right? I love black and white too, but the black and pink, this one, this is pretty cool. But still, nobody's bought it. So nobody wants those right now. But they are really, really pretty. Really pretty. Black, pink, and a little bit of blue in there, purple. Super pretty. 3 strands available, $20 a strand. I know they're a little bit expensive, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's only $2 a bead. And those are the old vintage prices. We have not changed the prices from what was marked on them a long time ago. Here, you can even see it's one of the old price tags. $20, way back. But here's another one of these strands if you want to see it. They are all really cool. Okay. Let's see. MIC 20. Black and pink is a cool combo, says Susan. It sure is. Andrew says maybe next week's prompt will be Mardi Gras. There you go. Andrew's already got prompts coming. He's got them. He's got them getting them ready for y'all. I only got one of these left. These were really nice. I'm not surprised there's only one left. This is vintage check, but it looks like old crystal. It's slightly yellow. There's a slight yellow hint to it. And it looks like to me like an old crystal. It's so pretty. Faceted. And each bead is approximately 9.5 by 12.5 millimeters. And it says, put those on, get out your pink lady, get out your pink lady's jacket, and you are set, right? Andrew says, I love those. I love these too. And we've just sold the last one. This says old hotel crystal, right? We've just sold that one. Sold out. Thank you so much. I've got this kind of beigey opalescent theme going on tonight. I didn't even realize it as I was pulling these beads. There are 2 of these. They're $8 a strand. These are vintage check too. And look at these. These have like, you can see that red. Look at that red glow. Very opalescent glow. Very beautiful color in those. They're so glowy. And they're like this kind of almost like a, I don't know, a bean shape. I don't know what you want to call that. But it's really pretty. And these beads are about 14.5 by 9. And if you look, the way they're drilled, they're like offset a little bit, like you're closer to this side and closer to that side. So they're a little bit on a diagonal. So there's now one of them available. Thank you. We've sold one of them, $8 each. One of them left. And then these are just a really good price, $4. I've got multiples of these. I don't know how many. I still have a little bit of a bag full of these. So it says 21 has a very cool shape and finish. Yeah, like it's a very cool shape. And it's not even the finish, it's just the glass. There's no finish on them. But it's just the way the glass is that makes them that opalescent. Like that's, yeah, it's just so cool. I don't know what kind or what, it's really nice. There's no finish. So it said it's like sunset, right? Andrew says, I can't remember where we were, but there was an old hotel and folks just up and abandoned it. We looked in the windows and all the tables were set with silverware and crystal and everything was covered in dust. I don't even remember that. Oh, we just sold the last 21. Thank you so much. I'll take that off of here so we know those are done. Thank you. Thank you. And so 22, these are only $4 each. These are these pink opalescent beads. Vintage check glass again. You can see the old tags on there. They were $4 back then. And we've just kept that price for now. But they're a pink opalescent. And I think they're 6mm. Yeah, 6mm beads. Multiple strands available. I've got a little bag of them here. Getting fewer and fewer, but still have a number of them available for y'all. MIC 22. Oh, I've only got one of these left. I think, yeah, we set aside some of these for me and Andrew. I think that's why we only have one left. I think we only got 4 of them or so. I think we sold one before. I think Andrew and I both kept a strand of these. MIC 23. These are $20. Oh, Andrew says, some of my vintage glass collector friends call it the Ring of Fire. I got them with the idea of making kits. These ones, yeah. These are vintage check glass. These beautiful table cut beads. They're off center in the center. They are indented in the center. They've been table cut down to the red glass around each one. And then the edges are also finished to match. These are really, really nice, really special beads. I love them so much I kept a strand. I think Andrew kept a strand in his pile too. They're just something you don't see very often anymore. And they've just sold. So that's it. That's all we've got of those. No more. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see, that was 23. Sorry, everybody. Sorry, I need to take a drink. All this talking, 2.5 hours of talking almost. MIC 24. Let's see, what do I have in here? Oh, I like this cutie. Andrew says, any of the pink glasses going up, that red pink, not brown pink, because the price of gold has gone up. And it has gold in it to make that, y'all. All right, $6. This is this little dog, check glass dog button, glass shank, vintage check. Only one of these. And so between tariffs and metal prices, some of the glass manufacturers aren't going to produce new glass because it's too expensive to replace. Isn't that super cute? Hand painted. It's got green eyes like me. And this one is about 18mm by 19.5. One button available. I don't see that one sitting around here for very long. We'll see though. You never know. I never know what's going to sell, what's not going to sell. Like, I didn't think I'd have any of this one either, but we do still have this one left. MIC 25 is this large, very metallic check glass button. The moth design. Metal shank from 1997, vintage. Beautiful metallic moth design on a black glass. Check glass button. And this one is 45 by 34 millimeters. And it says one of the enamel manufacturers changed their recipe and folks got mad. Yeah, it's not the same anymore, right? Monica says, wow, that is beautiful, right? Andrew says, reminds me of Power Rangers. I never watched Power Rangers much. This one has just sold. 12 is sold. I'm sorry, 25 has sold. 24 has not. The little dog, I thought of anything tonight, that little dog would run away with somebody. That's surprising to me. But thank you for grabbing 25. Let's see here. Oh, these are cute. Speaking of hearts, these are $5 each, and I've got 4 of them available. Andrew says, what kind of dog is it? I don't know. My aunt had a dog that looked like that at one point, though. His name was Dusty. And long ears, long hair like that. Anybody know what kind of dog that is? MIC 26, $5 each, 4 of them available. I'll show you all of them. We have Scottish something. Scotty? A Scotty? That makes sense. Oh, 24 just sold. Thank you so much. We have these heart buttons, check glass, vintage check glass heart buttons with hand painted ladybugs and leaves. And we've got 4 of them available. They are 17 by 16 millimeters. They're $5 each if you love hearts. There you go. Oh, somebody just tried to grab 24 again. Sorry, it is sold. Let me put it away so I don't keep teasing people. We've sold 2 of the 26s so far. Thank you so much. So 2 of those are sold. You know what? I think, hold on. Let me see if I'm right. I can change things up a little tonight. I think I had seen another one of those Scotty dogs in a different colorway. Whoa. But let me see if I can find it now. I was rooting through, I think it was in this bag though. I can find it. I will. I might be wrong. Maybe I was. Oh, there. I do have one. So for the person who missed out on that, let's see if you like this one. Let's see if there's anything else fun in here. There's some fun stuff, but go back to what I already have pulled. We sold the other 26s, so all of those have sold. Thank you, thank you. 26s have sold out. Let's see here, MIC 27, and that is $6. Andrew says, I wonder where the name Ladybird comes from or came from. I don't know. Ladybird. Okay, so here's another little Scotty dog, this time in gray with white. Same yellow collar, this time black eyes instead of green. One of those available, MIC 27. So if you missed out on 24, maybe you'll like that one. Oh, 27 just sold real quick. Thank you so much. Norma says, did I get the first Scotty? That was what, 24? You did, Norma. Yes, you did. 27 is now sold. MIC 28. Let's see here. What else do I have in here? Oh, this one's cool. MIC 28 is another button. This time, is that a lightning bug? It kind of looks like a lightning bug. I don't know. It's some kind of bug. Black button with the gold finish, vintage check. It's got a lot of detail. I mean, look at that face. It's got the legs in the back. 18 millimeters. One of them available, only $5. It's a really cool button. It looks like it's like a secret club button. I don't know. That's what it reminds me of. Like, you're now a member of the secret bug club. Andrew says, it reminds me of a dog I used to have called Pumpkin. And Andrew says, reminds me of Ann Choi Beat. Yeah, it does, right? Definitely kind of an Ann Choi motif. Looks like a Kimberly button, says Norma. I know. We got a few bug lovers amongst us, all right? Well, let's see here. This is some beautiful amber-like check glass. These are only $10 a strand. And let me see, I have 2 strands available. He really says, yes, but I'm pretty sure I got at least one of every bug style. Andrew says, I would show you the bead, but it's at the cottage. This is MIC 29. Beautiful check glass. Look at that. Looks like amber goodness. Beautiful, juicy check glass. Was $10 way back. Still only $10 for you all. Never increased the price yet on these. And they're in that kind of same shape as these ones, is the black and purple. These ones are 15 by approximately 13 millimeters. But look how gemmy those look. Andrew just said same shape as the pink and black. Yep. Very gemmy. Gorgeous strands. MIC 29. $10 a strand. $10 a strand. And MIC 30. This is a really beautiful. I found this pendant. It's marked 12. This is an old price. It's marked 12, but I'll do 10 on it. Give you a little extra. Last one here, MIC 30. This is beautiful pendant. It's even got some like druzy stuff going on in there. And there's the old price tag. It's drilled top to bottom this way. Big pendant for you all who like the big beads. Look at that. I don't even know what that is. A little flashy in there. And we've just sold 30. Thank you so much. 30 is sold. We've sold one of the 29s. Thank you. Thank you. Andrew says the pink beads go well with the black and pink ones. I know, right? These ones. Look at these together. Y'all, if that's not a match made in heaven, I don't know what is. Look at those together. For $24, you could have a strand of each and play around with those. Those would be, I think these would be like pretty amazing, like just earrings, just to put like one of these on each side of these and just have just a little simple earring. We've just sold 28 as well. Thank you. 28 is sold. Let me take that away. Let's see here. Kimberly says, pretty sure I've claimed both those in the past too. Haha, love them. Druzy and dendrites, yummo, says Kimberly, right? Yeah, this is a beautiful, beautiful pendant. Let me go ahead and put that away. And that take out this one. All right. And that, friends, is it for tonight. Thank you all for hanging out with me and Andrew. He's been here in the comments. We appreciate it so much. If you have any questions, send us an email, info@allegorygallery.com. If you'd like to continue to claim, please feel free to do that. Any claiming is going to help this small business, and we appreciate it so much. So please feel free to go wild. And we also still have our D-Stash up, an Andrew Thornton Project D-Stash on Facebook. And we have some really nice strands and beads there, and also some figurines, some hand-carved bone and walrus tusk and walrus jawbone. Little figurines made in Indonesia. We have some of those. We have beads, we have strands, lots of good stuff over there in the D stash. So if you haven't checked that out already, please do. And that's it, friends. I'm gonna tally up, and hopefully Andrew's working on some dinner for us, and we're gonna call it a night. So thank you all, at least call it a night online. Thank you all so much. Have an amazing evening, and we'll see you back here tomorrow around 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. for Wednesday's show. All right. Have a great one, everyone. Bye now.